Right now, a controversial transmission line is drawing criticism as the public gets a chance to voice their concerns.
And experts say so-called Lone Star ticks are becoming an increasing problem in our area, bringing with it an unusual side effect.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 6.
A proposed $500 million power line is drawing criticism as the public has an opportunity to voice their opinions this week.
These three lines, all representing proposals for the Cardinal Hickory Creek transmission line, about 120 miles from Dubuque, Iowa to Middleton. Madeline O'Neill just returned from a hearing in Madison today. Maddie?
Eric and Charlotte, you may have noticed the no ATC line signs around the area. Well, that's what this packed hearing was all about today. And another one is beginning now at the Public Service Commission building. While there was some support, many spoke out against the project even before the hearing began. And it's that input the PSC will take into account when deciding whether to give the go-ahead on this project.
Once it's built, there's no going back.
So this group opposing the Cardinal Hickory Creek transmission line want their voices heard now.
It's a project that's not needed. We've had flat energy demand for nearly 10 years now.
The project, a joint effort from the American Transmission Company, ITC Midwest, and Dairyland Power Cooperative, would transfer energy from Iowa to Wisconsin.
The line is very much justified on moving clean, green, renewable energy into the region.
Ann Spaltholz with ATC says the line would also bring electric system reliability and potential net economic benefits between $23.5 and $350 million to Wisconsin customers over its lifetime.
If people care about renewable energy, this is the way to help move it into this area.
But opponents like Dave Clutter of the Driftless Area Land Conservancy want to draw the line, pushing for alternatives like solar and wind power here in Wisconsin.
We need to start implementing these technologies today rather than relying on all our energy coming from some mix of carbon and non-carbon fuels from out west.
Especially because they believe the line would harm things like property values, conservation efforts, and tourism. Or as one man testifying put it, they want the Public Service Commission to slam on the brakes after listening to opinions.
We just want the commission to take a pause.
That input is something Spaltholz says ATC is interested in as well.
What we want to understand when we're routing and siting new power lines, what are the potential impacts? And the people in the area know that better than anybody.
The last two public hearings will be held tomorrow in Dodgeville at Dodger Bowl Lanes at 2 and 6 p.m. Comments can also be submitted in writing through Friday. We'll link you to that on our website. The Public Service Commission has until September 30th to make their decision.
All right, Maddie, thanks. To weather now. Things will be heating up around here. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with our first alert forecast. Gary?
Yeah, today we have the warm air, but it's not too humid. We're just going to start feeling the humidity tomorrow. That will lead to some thunderstorms tomorrow night, and then the real heat and humidity will develop. We have an alert day in the forecast for late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night for the potential for some strong to severe thunderstorms, hail, high winds, and heavy rain being the main threats there. And then it's just the heat and humidity for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. High temperatures all 4 days, around 90. Heat index values perhaps as high as the upper 90s at times. Very little in the way of thunderstorm chances to even temporarily break the heat, and nighttime low temperatures will stay around 70. Visible cloud track shows just a few cirrus clouds moving overhead right now, but there's no rain on Doppler track across southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right now are in the lower 80s, even all the way up to Lake Michigan. Not much of a lake breeze there, but the heat index feels about the same as the temperature because the humidity right now is low. That will change for tomorrow as temperatures climb up into the middle 80s. Again, the best chances for thunderstorms late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night. That's your News 3 Now First Alert forecast.
Gary, thanks. A dangerous type of tick has been spotted recently in northwestern Wisconsin.
And experts say it can carry a strange side effect. Rock County reporter Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with why this is something people in southern Wisconsin need to know. Adam?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, it might not be common as a deer tick and a wood tick, but the Lone Star tick is once again making a home in the state of Wisconsin. One expert I talked to today said it can have some pretty nasty side effects.
Professor Susan Paskowitz has dedicated decades to studying ticks and knows that June and July are the best time to find them.
This is the time of year when people are out and very active.
And while ticks are relatively common in the summer months, she says it could still be tough to know if one has attached itself to you.
You don't necessarily have any warning that you have a tick that's crawling on your body and getting ready to attach.
But recently, one tick in particular, the Lone Star tick, has made its return to Wisconsin. Normally, it would only be found in the southeast southeast portion of the United States. However, Paskowitz says in most years, they attach themselves to birds or other animals that make their way up north. Physically, they've got a distinct look.
Right in the middle of the back, they have a very intense white spot.
But it's the side effects that come along with the Lone Star tick bite that really stand out.
Cases of people who've been bitten by Lone Star ticks, and then, you know, whenever they have beef or I think lamb too, you know, any of the red meats, they can develop even life-threatening kind of shock.
Paskowitz and other professors at the UW Department of Entomology say they're still trying to learn as much as they can about the bug.
That's actually the Lone Star tick.
Relying on samples to do so. In the past, they've used this data to map where the bugs are most commonly found. Dane and Rock County, both areas of concern. And while the cold will usually kill off the Lone Star tick at the end of each year, warming temperatures could soon change that.
We could have some years where we get pretty mild winters, and then the next year those ticks did manage to make it through and could begin to start reproducing.
Now, before you get concerned, there are things you can do to help prevent yourself from finding this Lone Star tick, namely wearing bug spray and long clothes if you're out hiking or camping. And Professor Paskowitz said they also created an app called the Tick app, which helps them to monitor and track all these ticks in Wisconsin.
Adam, thank you. The teen who was caught on video jumping from a window at the Janesville Police Department will spend 4 years in prison. 18-year-old Quantrell Shortslow of Orfordville pleaded guilty today to separate charges of escape and strangulation. He jumped from this second-story window. This was in an interview room back in October, but was caught a short time later. He was charged with felony escape for that incident.
Will Governor Evers sign the Republican-written budget passed by the legislature? Rose Schmidt is live from the state capitol to take a closer look at the changes made to the document. Rose?
Yes, well, Governor Tony Evers has the option to veto the budget completely, or he can make changes to the document. But he has not said yet what he plans to do. He tweeted within the last hour saying, "I've said all along that the will of the people is the law of the land, and that's what will be on my mind as I review the legislature's changes to our budget." The Senate narrowly approved that budget 17-16 today, with all Democrats and 2 Republicans voting against it. So what's the difference between Evers' original proposal and the one passed today? Well, many of Evers' top priorities have been stripped out. That includes accepting federal money to expand Medicaid in Wisconsin, legalizing medical marijuana, an 8-cent gas tax increase to help pay for roads, and raising the minimum wage to $8.25 by the end of next year. So what should Governor Evers do?
He should sign it. I think he, and I think he will. I've urged him every time that we've met in his office to really give that a lot of thought.
In general, this budget misses the mark, and we had missed opportunities of accepting federal dollars for health care expansion.
Now, if Evers does decide to veto the budget completely, Fitzgerald says that the legislature won't try to override that veto until about October.
All right, Rose Schmidt live at the Capitol. Rose, thank you. Fireworks, food, and a full slate of music, all things to look forward to at the 5th edition of Shake the Lake. That's this Saturday in Madison.
But another big story this weekend, the weather. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is live at Monona Terrace with more. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Eric and Charlotte. Well, officials are expecting big crowds to flock to Lake Monona this Saturday for Shake the Lake. And while country and rock artists are set to heat up the stages here, Mother Nature could be providing some heat of her own as high heat and humidity is expected this weekend. Alert days are in the forecast for this Saturday and through Monday, in fact, for temperatures near 90. But with high humidity, it could feel like the middle to upper 90s here when the gates open at 5 p.m. this Saturday. Since this is the first real hot stretch of weather of the year in Madison, officials with Shake the Lake say it's important to practice heat safety.
Hydrate, I think that's an important piece. We'll have water available at all of our stands throughout, but it's smart to be responsible and plan ahead, make sure they're wearing sunscreen if they're participating in other event activities throughout the day.
Officials are providing extra opportunities to stay hydrated during the festivities. They are permitting you to bring in one 20-ounce factory-sealed water bottle into the event zone. They also said they would be working with the Madison Water Utility Wagon to provide on-site water refilling stations. Now, the fireworks here at Lake Monona are set to get started around 10 p.m. on Saturday night, and at that time, temperatures could still be near 80 degrees when the color is lighting up the sky here in Madison.
All right. right, Dave, thank you. Still ahead, a News 3 Now exclusive.
How a Madison family is starting a new birthday tradition for kids fighting for their lives and how you can help.
And then tonight at 10, a local subcontractor says the city of Madison cost them thousands of dollars. We'll tell you how and what the company is now doing about it. A Madison family is starting a special birthday tradition, which means presents for more than one person.
Danica Lewis is here to tell us more about an effort to get toys to kids who really need them. Danica?
Well, Eric and Charlotte, the staff at American Family Children's Hospital works hard to make sure anyone there for an extended stay is as comfortable as possible, and sometimes that's as simple as a cuddly companion.
We had a little car that you would ride around the hallway.
Of all the time Cormac Bauer spent in the hospital.
Remember that?
The wheelie cart?
Yeah, the wheelie cart.
The moments that stick with him don't involve getting stuck by needles.
Who helped you there?
My stuffed animal, Daddy Hedgehog.
Daddy Hedgehog was there when Cormac needed him most.
I can hug him and he's really soft.
With compassion only polyester can supply.
I just remember it was all kind of a big blur.
Cormac was diagnosed with leukemia last January.
That first hospital stay was, I think, 14 days.
But Mom Carrie knew they were never in this alone.
You went from kind of our little small family, and then suddenly, like, we had all these doctors and nurses and everybody.
Her memories from the chemo and hospital stays tend to trigger laughter.
She and you, like, threw that big stuffed moose back and forth. Do you remember you guys made
Mushy Belly?
Mushy Belly.
Moments when Cormac's mind wasn't on his disease.
Little things that I'll always remember.
Once Cormac's condition got more stable,
sort of activity books that they can do.
Carrie wanted a way to bring families like hers some comfort.
Walkie-talkies and everything, so.
And remembering what one nurse mentioned to her.
We just don't have quite as many toys during the summertime.
She set up an Amazon wish list to stockpile books, Nerf hoops, and, of course,
he loves Legos, a bunch of different.
That young patients can choose from all year long.
This actually filled up off the registry. I think we have 20 of these little baby toys.
So far, a whole wall of Prime packages have come in, about 700 toys in all. Those donations will all be delivered just in time for Cormac's birthday next month.
We're so happy we're at a different place than we were a year ago, and we wanted to do something to sort of celebrate how far we've come and give back to everybody who helped us, right?
Yeah.
Cormac knows this will make other kids like him feel, well,
happy.
Because sometimes what kids remember most is what helped them forget.
It's a gift for the child, and it's a gift for the family too. So I hope that's what it brings.
So if you want to help refill the toy box at American Family Children's Hospital, we do have a link to that Amazon wish list up on channel3000.com. The Bowers are also expecting donations outside of the registry, but it'll at least give you a better idea of what's needed. That drop-off will happen on July 15th.
Doctors call it the cruelest disease you've never heard of.
It's a form of dementia affecting younger adults called frontotemporal degeneration, or FTD. It's the #1 form of dementia in Americans under the age of 60. It attacks parts of the brain which control speech and personality. It is commonly misdiagnosed as depression. There is no treatment, no cure. And given the devastating toll it takes on victims and their families, FTD should be much better known than it is. That's why an Iowa County family is sharing their story with our Susan Simon, and we will have it tonight at 10.
Next at 6, more storms are in the forecast, followed by some extreme heat this weekend. Gary Canolti will have all the details in his full forecast next.
Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolti joining us now with a look at our weather. Gary?
Warm day today. The humidity levels weren't too bad, so it seemed pretty comfortable, but the heat will go up, so will the humidity, and so will the thunderstorm chances. Visible cloud track shows a pretty nice day today across southern Wisconsin. Some cirrus clouds to blow off tops of some storms that were well out to the west of us passed by, but that was pretty much about it. And you can see on Doppler track, very little in the way of rain anywhere near here. Some thunderstorms have popped up pretty rapidly over the last couple of hours to our south across northern Illinois, but that's where a stationary front is. So these will stay south of southern Wisconsin for tonight. Now, technically, the Storm Prediction Center does have a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms for late tonight over southwestern Wisconsin. Storms that'll fire up in the Dakotas, may move eastward across Minnesota, and maybe reach far southern Wisconsin late tonight or early tomorrow morning. Right now, that seems pretty iffy. The higher severe weather threat is going to be tomorrow afternoon. We may see storms fire up again through central Wisconsin, drop through the southern part of the state late afternoon or into the evening. Hail, high winds, heavy rain, all a possibility from those storms. Those will drop to the south, and then in its wake, it'll leave a lot of humidity. So the atmosphere will be very unstable as we head into Friday, there's still a marginal risk of severe thunderstorms, but the rain chances go down. So we probably won't even see thunderstorms on Friday. If we do see them, there's the possibility that we could see an isolated strong to severe thunderstorm. Rainfall amounts with the high humidity also start going up as well. Probably about a ½ inch to an inch of rain generally through southern Wisconsin through Friday morning, but there could be pockets like south of La Crosse into southeastern Minnesota where those storms initially fire up, where we could see 1 to 2 inches of rain or more. So alert days in the forecast for late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow night for the possibility for some strong to severe thunderstorms. And then for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, it's the heat. High temperatures will be upper 80s to around 90 degrees. The humidity will be very high. Dew point temperatures will be in the lower 70s. That'll keep overnight low temperatures around 70, so you don't even get any real relief at night. And during the daytime, you swelter with heat indices into the 90s. Live view from the WISC Skycam. A little more cloud cover right now. Our high today, 84. Right now, we're at 82 degrees. But notice the humidity, only 41% with dew point temperatures in the mid-50s. We're going to be looking at dew point temperatures in the 70s by the weekend. So these temperatures that are in the 80s are still pretty comfortable. The winds right now pretty light, high pressure almost directly over us, but notice out to the west, those winds become southerly, and the dew point temperatures start streaming northward there into the mid-60s to around 70 degrees. So the instability in the atmosphere will start to increase. Late tonight, there could be a little pocket of instability that could produce a strong thunderstorm, but the better chances for stronger thunderstorms late tomorrow afternoon as that area of storms develops in central Wisconsin and then drops southward. So look for a low temperature of about 67 by early tomorrow morning. Just an outside chance of a shower or thunderstorm late. I think the chances are probably less than 10%. Tomorrow, a warmer and more humid day with high temperatures in the mid-80s, but thunderstorm chances could start to increase late in the afternoon. On future track, again, quiet conditions overnight. I think the chances for a thunderstorm are very small. Low temperatures in the upper 60s. Highs tomorrow, mid-80s, but here come the thunderstorm chances, and watch them sweep through southern Wisconsin late tomorrow night. And then after that, the humidity is left in its wake, so temperatures climb well into the 80s on Friday. And again, those heat indices start rising close to 90. That's why we have the alert days in the forecast through the weekend into Monday. Thunderstorm chances continue through the 4th of July, although there'll be plenty of rain-free hours. Highs mid-80s, although drop in the humidity toward the end of next week.
We'll catch up with former Badger and Packer Jared Abrederis to talk about his new career, being a dad. The story's coming up in sports. Brewers are going to try out a new starting pitcher tonight against Seattle. Adrian Hauser takes Jimmy Nelson's spot after Nelson was sent to the bullpen. In the last 30 games, the Brewers starters have an earned run average of over 6. Fan voting now open for the starters for the Major League Baseball All-Star Game next month in Cleveland. 3 Brewers in the final cut: Christian Yelich, Mike Moustakas, and Yasmani Grandal. Fan voting runs through 3 o'clock tomorrow. The winners will be announced tomorrow night. The other night, when Giannis Antetokounmpo won the NBA's Most Valuable Player award, another Milwaukee MVP, the Brewers' Christian Yelich, knew exactly what Giannis was feeling. Yelich won the National League MVP award last year, and he was happy Giannis accepted it the way he did.
Just speaking from being in a similar position, you envision the moment, but you don't really fully appreciate it or understand how it's going to hit you until you're in the middle of it. And I think it was pretty cool that it was raw, emotional, and exactly how it should have been.
They're starting to announce this year's class of the 2019 UW Athletic Hall of Fame, and the first announcement is a real doozy. Joe Thomas is adding to his list of Halls of Fame. He'll go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame when he's eligible in a few years. He was selected to the College Football Hall of Fame in January, and this September he'll be inducted into the UW Athletic Hall of Fame. So will volleyball player Kelly Kennedy Sauer, who was also announced today as a UW Athletic Hall of Famer. Eventually, you move on from football. That's what former Badger and Packer wide receiver Jared Abbrederis is doing after retiring from the NFL a couple of years ago. Abbrederis is a financial planner in Wautoma now. He has a 4-year-old and 2-year-old daughter and another child on the way.
It's like being a dad. It's a lot of work. It's definitely a blessing. You get to go home and after a long day of work or whatnot, you go home and they run into your arms, Daddy. So, you know, it's just something special about it. But yeah, it's definitely not about you anymore. You got different priorities. It's about, you know, giving them a life that hopefully is better than yours. So it's been really good.
No games in the Women's World Cup today. The quarterfinals resume tomorrow with Norway against England. Friday afternoon, 2 o'clock our time, the top-ranked United States team plays France, which is ranked 4th in the world. Even though it's 1 against 4, it could be the United States' toughest test of the tournament, playing a very good team on their home soil in Paris Friday.
France is obviously a great team. We're really excited for the challenge, and we definitely have a lot of preparing to do because we know it's going to be a really tough opponent. So we're excited to get ready for the game and to have this really awesome kind of example of soccer being played. So I think it's going to be awesome, and we're looking forward to it.
And Kevin Durant has turned down a $31.5 million option with the Golden State Warriors. He will test the free agent market. Durant, of course, tore his Achilles in the finals. He'll miss most of next season. If Durant stays with the Warriors, he could get the max deal, 5 years, $221 million. Teams like the Knicks and Nets could sign him for a maximum of 4 years. I hear Milwaukee's nice this time of year, but, you know, you got to sign Brogdon, you got to sign Middleton, or do you go Durant?
A lot of big decisions. We'll see what happens.
A lot of big money, too.
Just like TV.
Final check with Gary.
Well, some thunderstorms down across northern Illinois will stay to our south right now. Nothing heading towards southern Wisconsin. Temperatures right now, lower 80s, and that's what it feels like with the heat index because the air is still pretty dry. But look for temperatures tomorrow, mid-80s, and then alert days through the weekend for high heat and humidity.
Thanks for joining us.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.